I am Sergeant De Leon, retired 2014, medically retired from the Army. I sustained a few injuries, and two of them happened to be um, TBIs, head injuries, and um, I didn't I didn't know how, and nobody knows, but I really didn't know how bad it was until I got stateside. Right, that's home. Um, it so I've been advocating for myself since 2010, but mostly 2000 and about 11, 12ish, when the margin of error is, I didn't know what was going on with me, and no one else did either. So, um, give and take that margin of error. I've been advocating and battling for myself to get treatment for a TBI that the VA does not recognize, does not want to recognize. Also, medical treatment and benefits that come with it. So, what's important about that, the benefit side, is that one, you get paid to, just like Medicare, when you're disabled, you have to have some money to live. It's very difficult, right? So, me, I'm losing function of my limbs. I've got about 85 to 90% motor dysfunction, fine motor dysfunction, and you can see here, part of my face is not working because I had a tooth pulled, and since I have a central nervous system dysfunction, when the nerve uh, is tampered with in that area, since it's dysfunctional in my brain, it gets rid of that function. So it's like automatic. It's gone, right? And that's the pattern that I've had. I've had two, three surgeries already, and I've lost function in those areas. So, talking about a strange situation, right? Yeah. So I've been advocating for myself. Like I said, I'm a Iraq veteran, sustained two head injuries, and because of the situation, it's unique, and in its totality. Okay. Going to Iraq, being a tough son of a bitch that I am, and coming home, and I elected to take care of most of my injuries because they were just starting to manifestate themselves. Manifestate. They're just starting to really come around to where it's that type of injury. So the way I see it is, there's two types of injuries, right? One, you could see everything. You got the bullet through the arm, through the head, get a pipe through your shoulder. You can see all that. That's all said and done. And then you got the injuries that they fester, and that's the gray area, right? Some more gray than others. So in my case, it happened to be not so gray. It happened to be closer to the black and white, but because of the circumstances surrounding my employment while I got back home, working for the border, on the border with the Army and the Homeland Security, um, the VA was claiming and telling me that while I was trying to claim for a TBI, that I was working, that I applied to work and I got on to work, and so how can I be working if I had this injury? And so that turned into a mess, and you guys can kind of see why that would be a mess, right? So in overall, I would think, and everyone else would think, you taxpayers would think, that they would get together, the VA, the process, standard operating procedures, any clauses, any military code of justice, rules and regulations. They would get it together and say, "Hey, we missed a step here, and we apologize, but we're going to have to do the investigation, put it down. Claim that you were injured overseas. You had two head injuries. The entire scenario. So, but it hasn't fallen that way. Okay, and that's the bad part. This is the part that I am that I'm really fighting, because it would have been one thing to have the VA follow through with getting me some sort of treatment. Right, I'm not getting any treatment for a TBI whatsoever, not even a possible TBI. I haven't got even a possible evaluation for a TBI. They're just denying because of the situation that I had placed myself in, which is any reasonable situation. So here I am in Iraq, right? 2009, 2010. I sustained some injuries. I'm a tough son of a bitch, so I come back just like everybody else. That's tough, and they want to take care of some injuries at home. Not knowing the extent of the injury, I elected to, take care of it at home because why not? I wanted to get away from all these sons of bitches in the service that I spent over a year with in Iraq. I wanted to get away from them. So, got home and then I had a back injury that was really bad. And that back injury, if you guys have ever had a toothache, I'm going to give you an analogy. So if you've had a toothache that's really bad, I mean a bad toothache, right? This is the best way I can describe it. Um, you are pretty much locked into not paying attention and just concentrating on this back injury, this toothache, right? You just want it done. You can't think. You can't move forward. You just want to get the damn tooth pulled or some relief. Whew, right? I mean, you got nothing else to do but get rid of that pain. It's all up in your head and your brain and your eyes. And man, if it's real bad, I've had a bad toothache, a cavity thing. I ate my tooth up when I was younger. And boy, it hurts, don't it? I mean, it's bad. You don't think of nothing else. They put a T-bone steak right? No, right? I mean, all sorts of stuff. You just want to get it done. You can't think. Your moods, just focus on certain emotions, and you want to get it done. So that was what was happening with my back. Is it overshadowed when I got home anything that was happening with my brain? I was feeling some difficulties with my neck and my head was hurting. I couldn't get rid of headaches. I was having some weakness. I felt somewhat numb, like not numb, but very spacey, right? Like I was something not right. But putting it all together, I thought it was sciatic nerve issue with my back, and it was pretty bad, and it was affecting all my senses and all that. So after I got surgery, while I was on duty working for the Border Patrol with the Army, um, uh, started losing the function of my legs. So I lost the legs, the buttocks, and now I have atrophy after 8 to 10 years. Atrophy, skinny legs, like you see these guys and girls with people with they can't move their legs, and some of them are born that way. Very skinny legs. Mine are getting that way, but they're skinny enough already. You can tell. And so it just went on. It went on. So I'm advocating for myself as all this is happening. I got on to, I had to fight to get into every single beneficial program that would help me with a TBI, right? Something to recognize my injury. Well, the VA wasn't doing their part. I already did my part, right? So And it's a lot of programs, folks. It was a lot of programs. Order of Purple Heart, the DAV, the BFW, the Wounded Warrior Program, the Army Wounded Warrior Program. I was applying for every single financial benefit that I can get because I couldn't work and losing function of my legs, and I had not gotten an evaluation in totality of what's wrong with me, right? So difficult times, man, and you know, I definitely can relate to the fellows that were in the FBI that were in Congress recently. The FBI is some retaliation to it, and they could, the FBI can say, we're not doing anything, we're not retaliating against these guys. They can say whatever they want, but damn well that all the FBI has to do is, well, we're following policy. So they're not actually doing it on purpose, right? That's a bunch of shit, man. You guys, if you were in that situation, right, they control everything. The military will cut your health care off. They will do, and it's not as though they're saying, well, let's cut his health care off, okay, and just make it tough for this fella and his family. Can you believe it? I mean, you're nothing but a good person doing the right stuff, and however they were persuaded to say, what, I think I'm going to be okay, and people were, hey, let's get you in and be a whistleblower, and they took that bait, which is what they should do, and now no one wants to help them, right? And I'm in the same boat. So here I am. I have a story of getting injured overseas. I have all this proof, some proof. I have, a situation where I was, the VA would sort of frown frown to it and say, well, you were working. So, and yet no one wants to give me the benefit of the doubt, which there is a benefit of the doubt clause at the VA. Well, it sounds like a duck, it looks like a duck, and quacks like a duck. It's a fucking duck, right? Yeah. So, and that's the same with these guys in Congress, that the FBI, that put their job security, their health and welfare with their family on the line. And the bad part about it, and that's what I'm fighting for, is the reluctancy, the um, what do you call it? Divisive, um, chicken shit, hiding behind standard operating procedures to put these our brothers and sisters in this situation, like myself, and discredit them, right? Discredit. I'm sure people have. If you've seen that, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure people have said, put yourself in that situation. Well, you can't do that, people. There's no way in hell you're ever going to know what it feels like, what the situation is, unless it's actually happening to you. All right. There's no fucking way you're ever going to understand how myself and those people in Congress that were FBI whistleblowers feel for the military, the FBI cutting them off completely per SOP. They're gonna hide behind the standard operating procedures and clauses, saying, "Oh no, we did this and this is what happened," so that person has a grievance, and that's how they're treating me. They're treating me like I'm sort of fraud. I'm discredited. It's a fucking amazing, man, that you put your life on the line. Literally put your life on the line. I know people hear that all day. You put your life on the line. No, you do. Like police said, they put your life on the line. You give it everything you got. You give it your skills, your personality, your everything you have to better yourself and secure your situation and your family. Right? That's the goal. That's what we're here for. And yet, the FBI does not want to help these fellas, these whistleblowers, get at least the fundamental help, right? Like myself. I had to fight for my fundamental benefits, which meant that if I was the type of person that just procrastinated, that didn't want to do stuff, didn't want to follow through, didn't want to look ahead of myself and say, you know what, I better start applying for this because that, it's going to take 8 months, 6 months, or maybe I got to fight it, I got to appeal it. And I had to do that for at least 4 years solid straight because I started to experience these people hiding behind the policies and procedures that govern the federal government. I'm dealing with the federal government. The FBI whistleblowers are dealing with the federal government. It's these fucking assholes, that at one point you look up to. It's like fake it until you make it. There's a lot of people who are in leadership positions that God bless them. You know, they try to be in these leadership positions. Sometimes they're pushed in there just because of their rank and their experience, and they should not be in those positions. There should be. You all know what I'm talking about, right? With just work, period. There should be a opt out, right? We should have a opt out without being penalized for like going up a rank or getting in these positions. Say, look, I'm not a leader. I can support leaders. Maybe you're a support leader kind of person, but you shouldn't be running just, like me, for instance, in my unit. I had transferred from engineer to transportation to tour get my Iraq tour, and I noticed that some of the just about all the leadership in that unit were like police officers and in their other job, and so they just made them, whatever powers they be, put them in charge. Which, how in the fuck do you know if they're even leaders? You know, but that's the way we go along to get along, right? That's the way it is, and they can fuck shit up because they fucked my shit up, and they're messing around with those FBI agents situation as well. Man, I wish I can get together with just about everybody who's being jammed up the ASS right now with not getting any support from the same people that you have given everything to. You know, I mean, there should be a program for us to like whistleblower slash something or other to get together and just attack these people and say, look, and it's very difficult to do that, people. It's very difficult to do it because some of these people that you have to tattle on and get try to get in trouble for not doing their job. They were your amigos. They were your friends or supposedly friends, but they were, they have, maybe they were going along to get along also. But see, that's the problem. That's the issue with what's going on in our country right now, is that people are afraid, and I don't blame them, because I've been in a situation where you work and you don't want to get fired for supporting the wrong people, right? That simple as that. And you know damn well that you got to go along to get along with everybody, right? Or else you won't get that promotion, you won't get hired, so you got to find a way to do it, right? And so I think it's time our country has an awakening to get maybe an organization started to where this is a program or operation that people get into, and you get vetted, and there's some power behind it, some attorneys, some judges, some things like that, and it's what do you call it? It would be a private, no one would know that you're in this program. And these folks should be able to help you. And maybe, the minimum, right? The minimum. Get these people who are supposed to be helping you in this leadership, get them reprimanded. You don't have to fire them, because I wouldn't want anybody fired if I was in that situation too. Some of them can't help it. They're going along to get along. They're a bunch of pussies, right? And it's difficult. It's difficult. You don't want to lose your job. You got 10 kids, you got 2 kids, you got whatever. You got responsibilities. So how do you swing it? How do we swing it? Do we just take it up the ass and die? I mean, this thing is literally killing me. I could have a stroke anytime because of the central nervous system, and now I have what they call a cephnoid sinus infection. That's not your regular sinus that you have up front. What it is, it's the cavity that produces moisture to your throat and your eyes and your nose, and that's all it does. Okay, and it's a serious cavity because it sits right underneath your brain. And you have that infected, what's the first thing that happens? You get meningitis. Well, I have a cephaloid sinus infection, and nobody's jumping to it. It's like, yeah, it's a serious issue, but it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? It sounds like Washington does it. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, there's a riot going on and people are getting killed, but I'm gonna go ahead and go have lunch right now. Holy crap, man! You know, that's the problem with us. So we have a big issue in which, we haven't even begin to touch. Hey, we have situations and maybe we need to create some sort of company, something to deal with these things, incognito, right? Just like I had already mentioned that the USA, needs to create a program to have a grading system to our appointed and political dignitaries, our Congress people, our senators, even appointed. The hell with them, man. I shit in the toilet just like anybody else. Okay. And what makes them special enough to say, well, if it wasn't for me, I need to make these decisions, nobody's gonna get it. That's a bunch of crap. There's a lot of people waiting in line to do your job. That people make it seem like that's security, people. That we do it all day. Right? But we need to create those programs. It's important because instead of giving free money away, right? Like, hey, we got to have free healthcare and all this shit. Why not create programs to help people like myself and those FBI agents who are getting shunned to get benefits, incognito. We get our justice, right? We get our situation in order, our ducks in order, right? We apply for the standard operating procedures. We match standard operating procedures to the people with pussies that are hiding behind it to put us in the situation in the first place, right? It's a bunch of bullshit, man. We have to suffer. You have no idea how hard I suffered. No fucking idea, man. I came back from Iraq, right? And here I am struggling to figure out who am I? What's going on? What the fuck's going on with me? I'm definitely I can't personally, I can't reflect back on a lot of shit of who I was back before I went to Iraq. Yeah, like just everyday shit. It's like a muted me, like you mute it, right? And that's how I am. So now I'm a whole different person, right? So, um, yeah, so me advocating for myself, there's got to be an advocate. I mean, the hell with these, patient advocate, bill, offices. Those things are worthless. Patient advocacy only works for something that's so simple that's not going to affect anybody else. It's just gonna, it's something that's not going to fire somebody. It doesn't get other people in trouble. That's what patient advocacy is for. But when you have a real situation that needs to be dealt with and people need to be held responsible for it, patient advocacy is a bunch of crock ass. Yeah, they don't do shit. I know it. I have a big story with patient advocacy at the VA. They're a bunch of crack asses. I tell you, man, you know? And so all we have to do is just get our shit together, but again, working around the Democrats and this all this shit that's happening that everybody wants to be special now. Everybody has a word to say. I want the mic. Give me the mic. No, fuck, man. Life's hard enough already. Why do we need to abide by all this bullshit just by somebody's fucking dream? Oh, let's all be free and be gay and you know, yeah, let illegals in, and that's what I wanted to touch base on. This illegal immigration thing is driving me fucking batty, man. Right? It's driving me batty. Um, I worked on the border. Um, again, we need to have a grading system for people who've been appointed in these border patrol leadership roles. We need to have a grading system for them also. It's one whole thing. And I mentioned, it's an interesting notion for it because, well, who's going to do it? Well, have like a jury duty sort of type arrangement, right? Where it's graded so often, and people have get a letter in the mail and say, hey, you're going to be grading some sons of bitches that supposedly need a grading. And it's everybody gets graded, just not nobody, just for some particular, it's everybody. They get graded. So that we have the best of the best of the best, right? Somebody says, hey, I support veterans, and then they get in office, Kirsten Sinema, and don't do it or slack on it, sandbag all over trying to get. I mean, she literally comes down to Tucson and goes to the mental health building and tries to advocate for veterans. I wrote the woman. Okay. She dropped my case because I had threatened her for not doing her job. She dropped me right after that. I mean, she can argue with me about it. Oh, no, no, we just, we can't help you anymore. No, it was perfect timing. How do you explain that? Well, she's got more power than me, right? So she can whistle her way out of that son of a bitch. Oh, she ain't whistling her way out of this one. Okay. I already filed a complaint against her and I'm going to follow through with it. All right. And that goes for everybody else. Juan Ciscomani, if you don't pick up and start busting ass, I'm going to file one against him too. And they don't go nowhere, people. These complaints don't go anywhere. They just make a mark. And you got to keep bugging them. It's like sending a letter every damn day until something gets done. Right. That's who we are. So the border issue, right? The border issue. Here's the thing about the border issue. Okay. This is what some people don't acknowledge or think about. When you come across the border illegally, all right, there you plant yourself like a cell here. Okay. There are options for you crossing over the border and being here because you wind up not getting any help that you want. And so your option is to get in touch with somebody who can give you drugs from Mexico and then you sell them. Yeah, you're like a cell. They create cells just like Al Qaeda, right? And so, it's a problem, right? It's a problem that we got illegals coming across the border and, taken away from the system. And we have to acknowledge these immigrants as immigrants because we're a nation of immigrants. I'm tired of hearing that shit. We're a nation of, well, yeah, we're a nation of immigrants and immigrants and immigrants and immigrants. When does it stop? Huh? When does it stop? So again, um, a big problem with our border issue is also the leadership, right? The leadership. I watch the news all damn day, and everyone is talking about the problems. Border, we have a problem. This, we have a problem. Social behavior, we have a problem. This transvestite, transgender thing is not a mental health issue. For some it is, but it's a behavior problem. Just like the black guy Neely that got killed on the subway. He's a behavior problem and he got dealt with, right? Yeah. So it's a behavior problem we have. Well, how do you deal with the behavior problem? That's not my job. Okay. That's the government job. All these people that want to be leaders and tell us what to do, they need to deal with it. Right. And that's where the grading system comes in. Oh, so you want to be and this is one of my biggest problems with the Mexican culture. Okay, I'm partially a Mexican. I'm Black Irish and also Native American. It's a culture. It's not a race. It's a culture. Okay, so the Mexican culture, they hire all these people, the Border Patrol. They hire all these people who are fluent in Spanish, partial Mexican and that, and they hire them mostly because of that reason. Yeah, you have to have a good grade on testing and all that, but mostly that's the reason. And so when you hire these people, they have no fucking leadership skills. You give a fucking Mexican some money who is indignant and arrogant. Usually not arrogant because that's too big of a word for them. They haven't discovered that personality yet. But indignant, oh hell yeah. You give them some money, look at the cartel, right? You give them some money and what do? They act like fucking Caesar, like they rule the fucking world, like their voice matters now, right? So it's a damn shame when you got all these people in leadership positions that need to be graded and get the hell out of there, right? We need to shut the border down. Okay, this is my opinion. As I've worked on the border, I've seen the culture with the leadership between union and non-union in the border, and they need to shut it down. For 2 months, shut it down. 1 month, shut it. I don't know, whatever it takes to shut down completely. Okay, what is that going to do? Well, it's going to cause some problems. Oh, wow, that's new. How about you weigh it out? How much would it cost a problem to shut the border? And when I say shut, I mean like no one in, no one out. But if it's medical issue, not I'm not that stupid as to say just shut it and no one in, no one out. And there's some medical things. Some family have medical health concerns and doctors and all shit. I'm talking about shut it, no one in, no one out. Okay. There's important roles that we have to keep moving money across, but no one. All right. So what's the balance? What is the balance? So you have millions of illegals coming across the border. Let's just say millions. All right. So if you're one of these people, where's the numbers? Just shut the hell up. Millions, because as I'm speaking on this shit right here, they're crossing the border right now. Right now they're crossing. Yeah, some of them are running illegally across, and they're getting away with it as we're speaking. It never stops. It doesn't stop just because you go to sleep or you go to work or it comes you watch the TV and the news is illegals crossing and what? It doesn't begin then. It's going on right now. I worked the border 24/7. We had I was working a 24-hour shift. Yeah, right. So sleet, rain, thunder, tornado. We don't have to, but anything they come across the border. People, if there's a will, there's a way, and they do it. Okay, it's worth the sacrifice to come over here and at least try to get into the system to take your money, your freedom, everything that you have sacrificed for already. So this leadership shit has to be dealt with, people. I'm sick of it. It's the leadership that put me in this position. It's the leadership that put those FBI agent whistleblowers in the position. Bunch of pussy asses, these people who don't want to, somehow figure out a way not to harm your brothers and sisters who need the job, who need the money, who need this, who need that. All right. Who gives a shit if it's a grievance? if it's partial grievance, but mostly they are whistleblowers. I'm in a situation where I need the help, I need benefits to go along with my medical care, right? I need the medical treatment for a TBI. Give me some management, medical management to help this thing slow down. I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor, but I do know that it needs to be slowed down. I get tremors, just like Parkinson's disease. It's amazing that I get no support, right? And I'll be damned. I'll be damned if these people that are not even trying to create a way out for us people like myself and those FBI to get a fundamental basic treatment for them, financial and health. Fundamental, people, fundamental. There's a problem. There's a problem with that. All right. Now, I'm a Native American to the area. My grandfather, they homesteaded. When they drew the line to claim Arizona and New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and California, right? When they drew the line, the United States drew the line and said, "This is now the United States." My grandmother just happened to be on the American side, right? Just happened to be on the American side. And so, you know, we naturalized after that, everyone following her. So, how many people can say that? Not a lot. Not a whole lot. Myra, who's this damn useless person? Myra, what's her name? That person that won that special election in Texas, Mexican woman. Her husband works for Border Patrol. God bless him. But Myra, whatever her name is, a Mexican woman, right? What a failure, you know? Again, leadership, people, leadership. How often is it that a Mexican woman in the worst part of Texas that's getting immigrants over gets elected, right, to Congress, or she is senator, Congress, and then take it serious, and do every single waking moment of supporting her role to keep her job as a senator, which she lost, right? Because it's important, because it's how leaders roll. That's how leaders do it, right? It would be something that people who are not leaders, you wouldn't understand, right? You would not understand. Oh, is there a class for that? No, there's no fucking class for that. A leader, okay, a leader will know exactly how to maneuver and solidify that position and sacrifice. This is the biggest thing with the leader: sacrifice. They will sacrifice their emotion, their time, their education, their mentality. They will sacrifice it without even bragging about it. You know why? Because they know it's more important to have that surrounding, and it's going to benefit themselves and that person, right? It's like Jesus. What did Jesus do? Jesus was a leader. He died, right? He didn't have to think about it, but he knew that as a leader, there's a severe sacrifice that they have to make. It's lonely at the top, right? And still, in return for being Jesus Christ, right? Being the Lord, being Jesus, he's still, in a struggle. He's still trying to get, his to guide, all his peoples, his children. It's not easy, man. You got to manage it. Managing is the most difficult thing when you're a leader, right? And this Myra person from Texas, she was a loser. All right, we got to start calling it the way it is, folks. All right, yeah, she's a nice person. She's a Mexican. Oh, whoa, wow, yeah. We don't need a Latina to stop people coming across the border. We need leaders. Yeah, and you hear that all day. A leader, leader, leader. What is a leader? Well, you'll never know what a leader is until you actually see it. You'll know. And these ones that are coming up aren't leaders, folks. They're just not. All right, you know it when you see it. You'll feel it when you're near it, right? So, um, so advocating for myself. If you guys pass this video on, I just speak from I speak from the gut. I speak because I have history here in Arizona, and I want to be a leader. I want to honor my grandmothers and my cousins and all my peoples that I live with. Not live with, but I'm from family. You know, I have this experience has been outrageously educational for me, right? But I just can't swallow people. I cannot swallow the the fact that the people that are supposed to, in some way, the people that are supposed to help you without hurting you, to move you forward to get the essentials, the fundamental essentials to keep you afloat when you are going through something that is controversial, right? That is it's going to hurt you, and people are going to go along to get along, and they're going to file the paperwork to get your job, cut your health care. There's got to be something more fundamental that helps us than just some stupid asshole who you expected to have them just say, well, hey, I'm really sorry, I have to go, I try, that's a bunch of shit. All right, it's a bunch of shit until it happens to you, people. Until it happens directly to you, you won't ever know. Okay, you won't ever know how it is. All right. And it sucks because, man, I wish I had the power to really kick these people's asses. I wish. I think about it every day. People, every day. I wish I could, man, I wish I could just, smoke these people, smoke them just like in the military. Hey, I want 200 push ups right now. Why? Because you're an asshole. Right. I wish I could smoke him, get him in trouble, and say, okay, now we're mano a mano, man. I want you to experience what I experienced, you and your kids. Right? It sucks. Sucks to say that. So you have kids, you have family, yeah, you have kids. I suffered because of you not making the decision. It's not you knowing what to do. It's not you not doing what you're supposed to, not doing it. Right? And so I want you to suffer. I want your kids and your family to suffer like I suffered. All right. It's a bad thing to say, people. It's a bad thing to say. But until that experience is reversed, right, then ain't nobody going to give a shit. Right? Ain't nobody going to give a shit. And it ain't. And so that's my how I think now, because they put me in such a hardship that every day I just think, man, I wish I could make these people pay for what they've done to me and my family. Right? And there's got to be a way to do it. Got to be a way to do it. Right? The powers that be, the senators, the Congress people, they're not helping me, man. They're not reaching out to me every day. I don't get a phone call. Hey, you have a serious situation, Sergeant De Leon. You got this special central nervous system issue, and it's serious, man. So we really need to keep in touch with you and follow through. Not sandbagging on, oh, it takes 6 months for a file to go. No, none of that shit. No one calls me. No one follows through with me. I'm sure no one's following through with these FBI agents, you know. So it's a damn shame that I have to express myself in this manner, right? But it has definitely, bittered me to where what I think is important now is to harm the people who didn't do anything to help me. I mean, the fundamentals, to harm the people who are supposed to stick up for the weakest link. They're not doing it. So what am I to do? Take God's, the God given, right that I have to be the better person, right? Oh, you got to be the better person, man. You can't be, don't do that. Well, I'm tired of that. I don't want to be the better person. I am the better person already. I want to be a leader now. You know what leaders do? Yeah, they're like, hey, I've taken it up the behind enough already. You know, I need to go and do mano y mano with these people who can care less about jeopardizing any part of their family situation to help me. Right? That's a bad thing to say, but I've already sacrificed enough to do that to people who have gotten away with it. Enough already. So a program needs to be created, right? It does. Program needs to be created to grade our elected officials and our appointees, right? And do it in some sort of timely manner. Have people be jury duty to it. I think it'd be fantastic. People would love it. Right? We have a sense of power now. We get to, well, you guys are the people. Without you guys, we wouldn't have the, no, 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 hell no. That is not real. Okay, well, I want to see the power. I want the power. All right, I want to feel. I want to put it down on that paper and say F, 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 F. Well, what happens to that person? Well, in due time, that person's going to have to get fired. Well, who do we replace it with? Oh, there's people, right? There's people, and there might be just that right person that's going to be like, I'm here for you guys for real, right? And a lot of these folks going to turn off the channel, but Trump is one of them. Even though Trump does stuff that Trump is benefiting from Trump, he still has a good heart to help people because it helps him. That's part of being a leader. All right. And so I can put myself to support him. DeSantis is not so bad either. There's some other folks out there that Swami guy, Vicky Swami, smart dude, man, needs to be somewhere in there, right, in the cabinet. Yeah. But yeah, we need to start getting rid of all these folks, man, in Washington, right? All of them. Mitt Romney, get rid of them. So what? What are we gonna miss them? No. Get rid of a lot of people, even Republicans. There's a lot of Republicans that are just placating, man. There's a lot of them in there that are placating. They think, oh, we got to get this done in order to get that done. Those people, okay, those people are just running the policy, whether it hurts, it hurts other people along the way. They don't give a shit, right? Oh, we got to get this done, and I'm doing it for the greater good of people, the man, the United States. And yeah, it's going to hurt some people, but we got to do it because it's the best option that we have. I think that's a bunch of crock of shit. All right, it only benefits you because you could say, "Oh, look what we got done," right? But along the way, it hurts people like me who are suffering. Right? I need medical help. I need medical medicine. I need benefits. I need to support my family just like those people, and it hurts us. There's no consideration, but the overall picture, yeah, it's somewhat good, but that's not the only way to do it. Why? Because I know leaders think that way, right? Look at Elon Musk. He don't give a fuck. He does it because he thinks, you know, yeah, there's got to be another option besides just, you know, following the program and policy that hurt people to begin with. We need to have options, not get rid of it. We just need options. There's special cases that need to be addressed, right? That's the way I see it. So thank you all for listening, man. I need to get it's Friday, Saturday, so I need to get on Monday. I have the cephaloid sinus infection, and it's been really bugging me. It's just it won't go away. I feel like some sort of ball underneath my brain, man. I get dizzy. If I try to lift something too much, get around too much, I get like a dehydrated type thing. Um, so I've been having a lot of problems with it, but maybe this will be something where a doctor cannot deny that it's something happening in my brain besides their stupidity, right? The gatekeepers of our world are the doctors, right? Those are the gatekeepers. I call them the gatekeepers. They control the drugs. They control the your beneficial health. They control everything, you know. And though that again, leaders. I don't give a shit. Let's get them out of the job. Go work in fucking Mexico. Oh, go do your what is that boat that crosses the seas and shit? Yeah, whatever. Maybe it'll enforce other people in the United States to become doctors who are much better than what we have now. No, I'm not saying that there's good ones. Yeah, but I haven't fucking met them. All I get was grief from them. Just grief, man. Again, following policy that hurt me instead of helping me. They go along to get along. I know, folks. Oh, I got a big story about that. I'm gonna have to give you guys. Go along to get along. The VA has the power, man. I feel like a whistleblower. You know, I'm not a whistleblower, man. But I have some stories about that, right? Stories, man. And so, again, thanks. We'll catch you guys. Another thing, I'm going to make some music here. And that's a whole nother thing. I'd like to show people how I actually do it, how I move my right arm, which doesn't work, um, and show you guys how I manipulate movement. I'm like a pro at it, man. And again, nobody's interested in how I'm doing all this shit. Nothing. I'm a pro at it. You know, I've learned how to adapt. So thanks again, and check y'all out later. If y'all want to get in touch and get some information from me, it's Marco dot Marco dot A Deleon, the number one at gmail.com. All right. Thanks.